Crusader Kings 3 is the most accurate simulation of poverty-stricken, disease-riddled medieval Europe since present-day today. It's amazing to me how far we've come. That is to say, not very far at all. Probably the biggest difference between me and a medieval lord is that I know how magnets work.
Magnets! Oh!
It was a different time, back when men were men, and women, well, women were there also. But if I had one complaint about the Middle Ages, it would be the lack of a dominant global superpower. But for my American viewers, you might be wondering where all this takes place, and what all this Crusader business is about. Well, I'll tell ya. Way back in around 1999, give or take a few years, this guy named Jesus was born. He taught people about love and peace, then he was killed by the police. So now, to spread his message, we need to invade the entire world and destroy the heathens that ignore his gospel of tolerance. To do this, kingdoms launched a series of military campaigns called Crusades, some of which failed more hilariously than others, like that one crusade where a bunch of children thought they were going to take on the biggest empire in the world and then drown before they could even get there. Or that crusade where the emperor drowned trying to cross a river and everyone just gave up and went home. Clearly, water was the biggest challenge a crusader faced. So when the Venetians came and offered to help him out, they said yes and accidentally destroyed the Byzantine Empire. But being a mighty science man of the future, I know exactly what went wrong. So instead of repeating the mistakes of the past, I'm gonna make some new and exciting mistakes. Where is the option to play as the United States? 0 out of 10, literally unplayable. I guess we'll play as Wales, the United States of Western Britain. But why Wales, I hear you asking? Have you ever been to Wales? Their place names are nigh on unpronounceable, and you can't fight a war against someone if you can't pronounce their name. And that's a fact. My lord, we're being invaded. What? By whom? Wales has enough L's. It's time to give them a big old W. Europe in 1066. That smells like free real estate. And manure. The Byzantine Empire. You poor bastards. You have no idea what you're in for in the next 140 years. For scale, that's almost as long as people have been writing Sherlock Holmes stories. I see the Seljuks have already started to chip away. Won't be long now, lads. Paradox, I'm not sure if you're still taking feedback, but if you're interested, I want to give you this piece of advice. More panels. You see this here? This is free real estate. If I see any of the map at this point, you have failed as a game developer. Now that we've consolidated Wales, it's time to take over the world. To rule England, all we need is to steal the crown jewels from the Tower of London, but neither of these things exist yet. Whatever, I just made my own. It's not like a 9th century peasant will know the difference. So to take over Scotland, you need to sit on a stone, but they don't remember which stone is the real one. I think it's probably these. If I sit on a bunch of stones, that'll make me even more of a king than this guy. And that's just math. Now we have to become King of Ireland. I've kind of been dreading this. Everyone knows the Irish don't exactly see eye to eye with the British. But I'm not British, I'm Welsh. And they respect that. With Wales, England, Scotland, and Ireland under our belt, we can finally form the Empire of Britannia. But everyone knows the Empire of Britannia is really just Great Wales, so I renamed it accordingly. So I took a little peek across the map, and apparently while I was consolidating my position in the Isles, the Byzantine Empire took over the entire Arabic world. That's insane. Whatever, I guess this is just the last gasp of a dying empire. So now we gotta get France. That's easier than you might think. We just need to wait for a peasant revolution, then swoop in at the last minute and take over by toppling the weak democratic government. To facilitate this, I'm going to create a scandal to drive the bourgeois to revolution. First thing, seduce the French king's wife. Don't really like my odds on this, and it's done. And now everyone knows she's pregnant with a Welsh stallion, and now the French king is fighting 4 civil wars and a peasant uprising.
I found the crown of France in the gutter, he said, and I picked it up.
Byzantium just ate India. India is just gone. You maniacs! It's clear to me now what my destiny is. I need to stop the Byzantine Empire from taking over the world and spreading their slightly different views. But if I'm going to have any chance against standing up against the Byzantines, I'm going to need Spain. To conquer Spain, I'll need to form some kind of inquest or investigation, some way to suss out the troublemakers and remove them from the environment. Some kind of inspection. But while I was conducting my little interrogation, the Byzantines took over Tibet and northern Asia. Next, I'll have to conquer Africa. Haha, I'm just joking. This is Crusader Kings. Africa doesn't exist. Next on the list is Germany. The problem here is that back in the day, Germany didn't exist. It was actually the Holy Roman Empire, a 1,000-year-long practical joke designed to annoy history students with the Holy Roman Empire was neither holy, Roman, nor an empire line. If you say this joke in the comments, I will ban you. Conquering this will be a nightmare. But I have a better idea. I'm gonna get Wales to become Holy Roman Emperor. To become Holy Roman Emperor, I could invade and launch a costly and destructive war against the dozens of small principalities, but I have a better idea. The County of Cologne is one of the electors of the Holy Roman Emperor, and guess who just bought a claim from the Pope for the County of Cologne? Me. And guess who's now an elector of the Holy Roman Empire despite not being a member? Me. And guess who fabricated blackmail and forced the other electors to back my candidate? Me. And guess who my candidate is? Me. All I have to do now is hope a healthy 33-year-old drunk dies in the next 5 years. But in case this doesn't happen, I'm gonna have him assassinated. Guess who the new Holy Roman Emperor is? Me. I'm also the Pope for some reason. I'm not really sure how that happened, but whatever. But the Byzantines are gaining strength. If I want to take them on, I'm gonna need the Nords. But I'm already High King of Skyrim, so that was easy. The Byzantine Empire has conquered the entire eastern half of the map, spreading their ideology of a slightly different form of Christianity. You little shit. With Scandinavia forming a weird penis-shaped landmass over my head, we're finally ready to take on the Byzantine Empire. It's time for a crusade. Deus Volt! Deus Volt! Deus Volt! Oh no. Shit. This is not going to plan. Apparently, without the Venetians to steal their bronze horses, the Byzantine Empire is surprisingly OP. Well, this isn't exactly going to plan, but I have another plan. Remember when I said the only difference between me and a medieval lord was that I knew more about magnets? Well, I also know about mutually assured destruction. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my god. The magnet corrupted my file so much I've sent us back to Crusader Kings 1. You maniacs! You blew it up! Damn you! Damn you all to hell! Well, at least I've successfully reduced the Byzantine Empire, but their views still differ slightly from my own. You little shit.